Hey everyone, welcome to your first real math play posit. I'm excited to explain this new topic to you guys tonight. We're going to be looking at multi-step equations, and this is really an extension of what we've been doing in class with solving equations. We're going to see a lot of things kind of connect as we look at this topic. We're going to see what we learned about expressions connecting with what we're learning about equations to really hit um, some real algebra tonight. So let's give this a try. We're going to look at this equation together. And the equation says 8 equals 8v minus 4 times v plus 8. And what you're going to notice that is a little different about this equation is that it's really hard to kind of build an onion here because we have a v in more than one place. There's a v right here, and there's a v right here. So we don't even, it's hard to even imagine where the center of that onion would be if we started to circle and create that onion. And so this question's a little bit different. What we're going to actually need to do before we start solving this equation is we're going to treat the entire right-hand side here as if it was an expression. And we're going to simplify that expression first, and then we'll get back to that idea of an onion. So as I'm looking at this expression on the right-hand side, I should start to notice that the distributive property could be used right here to distribute that minus 4. If I distribute that minus 4 times v is minus 4v. And of course, minus 4 times 8 is minus 32. If I just bring everything else back down, I'll go ahead and bring everything else back that was taken from the previous step. So I have 8 equals 8v minus 4v minus 32. The next thing I'm going to do, just like we would do in any other expression, is I'm going to go ahead and combine these like terms I have here, 8v and negative 4v, which we'll go ahead and combine into 4v. And again, everything else is going to come straight down and be the same. And from this point now, we are in a position where we are looking at something that is pretty easy for us to solve. We can go ahead and create that onion, if you will. So we'll kind of circle the v, and most closely attached to that v is this multiplication followed by the subtraction. So if I want to go ahead and undo those steps, I'm going to go ahead and start with adding 32 to get rid of that over there. And 8 plus 32 is 40 equals 4v. And we will divide by 4 to get v by itself. And it turns out that v is equal to 10 in this case. And so if we go back and kind of look at what properties we used to solve this equation, at the beginning we had the distributive property. Distributive property right there at the beginning. And then we moved over here and we had some combining of like terms, which we often associate with a commutative property. And then a little further down, right in here, we had a little APO, addition property of equality, and we finished with some DPO, the division property of equality. Awesome. Cool. So let's see another question. Let's go ahead and take a look at a question like this. What do you think the first step would need to be in answering a question like this? Right, so the first step is going to be very similar to the last problem. We're going to go ahead and simplify this expression, this whole expression that we have going on here. We'll go ahead and simplify that entire expression, and we'll start with the distributive property here. Negative 8 times 1 is negative 8, and negative 8 times 7n is minus 56n. And everything else is going to come straight down on this question. And next, we will go ahead and simplify that expression, and we'll do that by combining like terms. And so I've got negative 5n and negative 56n, which is a total of negative 61n, and everything else stays the same. Minus 8 equals minus 8. It's important to note that even though these kind of look like terms, they're on opposite sides of the equal sign, so they do not count as like terms. So from here, we're now going to go ahead and build that onion out, and we are going to go ahead and try to solve this question. So let's build that onion out around the n, and then the minus 61n, and then the minus 8. So how are we going to go ahead and get rid of that 8 first of all, that minus 8? Cool, so we'll do a plus 8 on there, and if I do it to the left-hand side, I've got to do it also on the right. I wonder if you can tell me what property I just used. So that was the addition property of equality, sometimes referred to as APO. And using APO, negative 8 plus 8 will cancel out. And on the other side, negative 8 plus 8 also cancels out. So that's going to leave us here with 0 on that side of the equation and a negative 61n on the left-hand side. We are now going to go ahead and finish this with our division. We'll divide by negative 61, and we'll get n equals 0 divided by negative 61, which is simply 0. All right, I want to look at one more example with you now, but I'm going to let you try to answer this question on your own, and then I will kind of explain and make sure that we know what we're doing. All right, cool. Give it a try. All right, so let's go ahead and work through this. Let's see how you did. We're going to start with the distributive property here. So we will multiply our 4 to our 2x and our 4 to our minus 11, which will give us 8x minus 44. And everything else is going to come straight down. So I still have a minus 6x equals negative 3. Our next step is we'll go ahead and simplify on this left-hand side of the equation. So I've got an 8x minus 6x, and 8x and minus 6x leaves 2x minus 44 equals negative 3. And now we can kind of imagine building that onion around the x. I'm trying to get x stuck to that 2, which is stuck to that minus 44. So as I go to work through this, I've got to first get rid of that minus 44. It's the outer layer of the onion. We will do that by adding 44 to the left-hand side of our equation, and anything we do on the left, we've got to do on the right. Try to keep that balance. My minus 44 and my 44 add up to 0, and everything else is coming straight down. 2x equals negative 3 plus 44 is 41. Last step that I need to take here is I need to go ahead and split up this 2 and the x. And since that's multiplication, I'm going to need division in order to do that. And I'll end up getting x equals 41 over 2. Cool. So if we just look back really quickly, can y'all tell me what property I used in step 1? Right, so that was the distributive property. Cool. And then in step 2, what did I do? All right, so I simplified by combining like terms. In step 3, I used which property? Right, I used the addition property of equality there. And finally, in step 4, yes, I finished with the division property of equality there, and I ended up getting an answer of x equals 41 over 2. So I hope that you were able to kind of follow along. Feel free to rewatch if you need to rewatch the video. And I hope you got some good notes out of this, and bring some questions with you tomorrow. What things made sense to you? What things didn't make sense? Do you think you could do this on your own? Hope you guys have a great night, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.